Welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion, the Ultimate Night Ranger podcast, the number one Night Ranger podcast. Joining me is, he might as well be called a co-host now, as many times as he's been on. You all know him, Mr. Ed Ripepi. Ed, thank you for joining me again. How
Hey
you
Josh,
been? How you been?
I'm doing
Um,
well. How are you?
I still have my sea or land legs or whatever the hell it is, man. It's been 1 week since I got off the boat, and I feel like I'm still on it. But luckily, I spent a lot of time in my 20s and 30s, a little bit intoxicated, so I'm used to this.
The
Uh,
best one was you text me like the next day, like, what am I feeling?
yeah, because
Did everything be moving? I started cracking up laughing.
I've never gotten air sick, car sick. I mean, I've been in
Yeah.
C-130s, I've been in Blackhawks in
Yeah.
Iraq doing like
Maneuvers of some type.
like combat landings where we're coming in
Right.
sideways and shit. Fine, totally fine. My buddies are throwing up in their helmets. Me, I'm cool. A fucking cruise ship, I'm like, I knew something was up when I was at the airport in Mexico, and I was like, I don't think this floor's
You're like,
sturdy.
wow.
It does. It feels like I'm doing this.
We
It,
flew home from Mexico to Houston, and I didn't even see you for a minute there. I'm like, where is Josh? Oh, there he is. And you're like, just trying to sleep it off.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling. So on this episode, we are going to talk about rock cruises. Night Ranger was on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and then they jumped on the 70s rock and romance cruise, and I joined them for that for my first cruise. And we're going to talk about rock cruises, those cruises, and the hijinks me and Levy got into and all that good stuff. But first, Ed, some Night Ranger, I guess, news or whatever. Have you seen the new shirts on the Night Ranger web store?
I have seen them. I've seen them in an email, and pretty excited about it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like because I have conversations. I'm like, you got to do retro shirts. You got all these cool old designs.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, yeah, I know you can't use certain members, on the front, but like switch it out with another one.
Mhm.
Um, And they've kind of listened, I think. So we got the T-shirt, the black T-shirt, Night Ranger logo on front, the girl on back, and it says 1985 World Tour. That 1985 World Tour was never on anything. They added that, but who cares? It looks cool. So you got that, and then today they just put on the Jersey style shirt has a Night Ranger logo on front and it says Seven Wishes on the back. And what else is there? Oh, a Rockin' America shirt. It's a retro. It says 1984 tour or something like that with the
Right.
United States.
Yep.
I've never seen that before.
Nope.
It's, you know, that,
So
that,
it's selling pretty good. We've had it out a couple shows this
okay.
year and
So
last year, late last year.
it's kind of cool. I like the where they make a new design and
Uh-huh.
then push it as a retro design. Because they put 84 tour or something like that, Midnight Madness on it. But like I said, that's a new. But anyways, there you go. You
All
got
right.
some new merch. Go out there and get it. Did you see Jack Blades has a new song out? Gosh, do you even know Jack Blades? Anyways, there is a Triumph. Remember the band Triumph?
Right. I'm a big fan.
Triumph has a all-star tribute album coming out.
Okay.
Sebastian Bach, Joey Belladonna, Lawrence Gowan, Jeff Keith, a whole bunch of people. And Jack Blades, even though his name's not listed on the front cover like everybody else is, a little disappointing. I'd have words with someone there. Um, Jack Blades covers Follow Your Heart. So there you go. Sebastian Bach, Mickey Thomas, Dee Snyder, Jason Sheff from Chicago, Nancy Wilson from Heart. So there
Nice.
you go. If you're wanting to get some new Jack Blades, Magic Power All Star Tribute to Triumph.
I like Magic Power. It's a good song.
not to be confused with Triumph the dog. Um, while we were getting ready for the cruise, Shaw Blades Hallucination celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Nice.
Fantastic record. I was with Jack that day and told him, and he texted Tommy, um, and when I was setting up some of his phone apps, that's what we talked about. So if you would have told me, 30 years ago when I bought that record, hey, on the 30th anniversary, this will be happening again, I would have said, give me some of those drugs because they sound awesome. Um, also, did you know that Jack Blades played with Ringo Starr?
I did.
Jack Blades played with Ringo Starr back in 1998. Not very many dates. I need to ask Jack exactly how many, but the most popular one that's out, there's two. I put a clip on Jack's page for him. Uh, there was like a Hard Rock Cafe thing that they filmed, but probably the one everybody remembers is because VH1 played it
Right.
nonstop,
Storytellers, right?
Storytellers.
Yeah.
And it's not been in print. You couldn't really find it anywhere. There wasn't anything on YouTube. But Paramount Plus has on their thing now all the MTV unplugs, almost. I mean, probably 90% of them. They don't have the Damn Yankees one. And they got all the storytellers.
Oh, wow.
And the Ringo one is on there.
Very nice.
So, yeah, I was flipping through like the storytellers. And I'm just like, God, like, I guess I just didn't realize how great this was when I was in high school. Because it's
Right.
like one week it's Rod Stewart, the
Mhm.
next week it's Neil Young, the next week it's, just great band after
For me,
great.
I just find that so intriguing because, like, I feel like you can go on YouTube and see any bands, any concerts, any song live, but you just don't see the behind. I like the behind the scenes stuff, and I mean, I know that I do that every day with our band, but it just intrigues me
Mm.
even prior to becoming a tour manager. I just love seeing the behind the stuff and behind the scenes stuff and just hearing the stories and the battle wounds and all that kind of stuff. So I would love to see that happen with us. So
And what's great is there's footage out there. I'm sure it's not on the Paramount Plus because it's just what they aired, but you can find some like I know Kiss where there's footage out there of them doing a song and fucking up and then stopping or they're waiting for cameras to move so they goof around and stuff. And then um I think Neil Young, which was a big unplugged one, he came in, they did a show, right? He wasn't happy with it, left at the end, told him he wanted to redo it. He came in, I think, the next day and just did it by himself, and that's the one they aired and
wow.
released the CD on.
Hmm.
But anyways, there is that out there um, that you can
Yeah, nice.
go watch if you $25, that includes shipping. Look at this.
Look at that
Look
peach.
at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
$25. If you want people to go, Fans of Motion, that looks like a cool Cheap Trick fan page. Now I had to pay for Eric Levy licensing,
There it is.
$32.
Somebody had that on at meet and greet, and he was like, "Oh my God!" And
So that's
Jack
the
loving it.
one then, because I've been waiting to see someone
Oh
uh
yeah.
post something. And then we got this $25. Look at that. Fans of
I,
Motion.
I like the new logo.
So there we go. Uh, you know,
So look at my son. He sneaks me in a Girl Scout cookie.
That's not a Girl Scout. That's a
Oh, it's a yellow Oreo,
golden.
golden Oreo cookie.
how's Dean doing?
He's doing good in the middle of baseball, travel baseball and a
Soccer.
little bit of soccer. So,
There you go. There you
yep.
go.
So,
Dean, what's your take on Night Ranger and 2025?
Uh,
Do you think they need a new tour manager?
oh no.
listen,
Here you go.
They just got some bad news today about going on a Night Ranger show.
That they have to go.
No, they were supposed to go to Japan with Shannon and I, and
But it raised like by like triple or something because there's like a parade or something. Festival.
there's the Ingenuity Festival going on in Osaka. So flights went from 1,800 apiece to 5,295. So times three, you can do the math.
You want it?
You know
I'm
what? There's a couple guitars downstairs that can be sold, and we'll raise that money real quick.
And that drum set downstairs can be sold.
Here, look at this.
Oh my God.
1989.
Yep.
So this is right after Night Ranger broke up that summer.
Go. Josh Mia says hello.
Hello, Mia. What do you think of Night Ranger needing a new tour manager?
Nope.
So here you go. Mega Mega is banned after Night Ranger.
Oh wow.
There's Derek Sherinian, who's been in every band, Dream Theater,
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Hmm.
And then there's a full page. Mega Mega.
Jeez, oh man. Wow, that's crazy.
Probably not many of these left.
Yeah.
All right. So Night Ranger and cruises. Did you ever do a rock cruise before you entered the Night Ranger world?
No, I don't even think they existed too much. I mean, I think we went on when Todd was still around, we went on the first Monsters of Rock cruise together. And they took me along because I was, just to help Todd and I was a cruiser. So it was fun watching them all being on a cruise for the first time. And I'm like, come on, let's go. And so yeah, it was kind of fun.
So the first one you remember with Night Ranger was Monsters of Rock then?
The first Monsters of Rock cruise we did.
What year would that have been?
I'm gonna say 2008, 9, 10, maybe.
All right.
7, 8, 9, 10. Something in that era.
And then since then, I mean,
And they went on a Kiss cruise without me because Shannon decided to have a baby. So I mean,
jeez.
the first Kiss cruise that they
Mhm.
were on.
Yeah.
Second Kiss cruise, I was the tour manager then. But yeah, go figure.
Now
Baby, Kiss cruise, come on.
well, I mean, here's the thing. You know about these things a year in advance.
No, well, I probably didn't know that one.
All right. Well,
It was probably one of those, hey, we just got booked. You want to go? Sure. Hey, I'm having a baby.
you couldn't find a flight of stairs. Anyways, uh,
Keep
all
going.
right. All right.
Where's that cruise? Yep.
But you've had the Kiss cruises, I know, and
Yep.
everything else.
Monsters of Rock, Rock Legends, 80s, and now the vaunted 70s rock and romance.
Which we will get to. So you guys kicked it off though on the Monsters of Rock cruise, but you guys really weren't on the boat. That was like when it was docked or something.
Correct. So we had Delray Beach show with the Beatles.
How'd that go?
Beatles Festival. It was a good time. I mean, it was Delray Beach area is just so beautiful. Great restaurants and it was cool. It was cool just to walk around. The weather was beautiful and so we played that show.
And if you were there, you got to hear Night Ranger do Back in the USSR.
Yeah. They did a nice job. They learned it off the cuff and played it and it was great. So that went on and then we had to bring all the gear to the pre-party. So we loaded all of our fly gear onto their truck at the pre-party. And then we flew down to Nassau, Bahama, stayed at Atlantis, had a couple days off there. And then we took a shuttle over to the cruise port when they docked and just had to go through a lot of hoops, but we made it work. April with their production was awesome. And got on the ship, played at the poolside, and it's a lot of moving parts real fast. So played the show, it was great. Steve got to utilize the big video board that's by the pool. So it was like extra big. I think I sent a picture and you put it up, but it was crazy.
Yeah, because I
Um,
saw like you had like the regular backdrop,
right,
film,
right.
and then you had like camera, like a different cameras on them on the
Yes.
sides. So,
Yeah. So he split it up so that there was like iMac on each side of the screen. And then we played and literally we got off the ship 45 minutes later. Everybody met in one area and whoop, right out the door we went. Because we all had to get on as a team and off as a team. So everybody had to be I mean, there was a lot of logistics and everybody did a great job. So that's what we did. And then got up the next morning and we all flew to Fort Lauderdale.
if you're going to jump through hoops and have all that stuff, it's better to do it in, you know, Florida, Bahamas, whatever, than,
Yep.
Fargo, North
Yeah.
Dakota or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. So no,
Um,
it worked out well. We all flew back up and met security and met you guys and it was kind of fun and got everybody back at the hotel and that's when we really Josh had to work real hard.
well, that was, so I
Most
flew in, I
expensive
guess that's
water we
where,
ever bought in our life.
um, so I flew into Fort Lauderdale. We all met at the airport. Um,
Well, the team Ripepi met at the airport first.
well, that,
And Team
yeah,
Angela met
yeah.
afterwards. Yeah. I
Uh,
made you have the easy flight.
and so we flew into Fort Lauderdale, stayed the night, and then boarded the ship the next day. And
Right.
so that day was, getting everybody comfortable. Um, you know, uh,
Tell the story. I hand you a
yeah,
$100 bill and go buy water. And we're like, oh, that's not going to be quick enough. And
well, we had to basically pay hotel prices because there wasn't any place close by.
nope.
And
There was everything
so,
else there. Like that whole entertainment complex was there with every restaurant in the world. But was there a CVS or a Walmart or a Walgreens in No. I was like,
yeah, so 250 a bottle, something
they
like that.
signed it to the room. Just get it here.
Yeah, that's rock and
Yep.
roll, I guess.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. If you would have said something, hey, 1984, hey, 40 years from now, you'll spend $120 on water. Like what? Don't they have faucets there?
Where's the
Um,
hose?
like uh,
Yeah.
just
But I will say that you were in the beginning, you're like, yeah, I'll go and okay, what do I need to do? And like, and it was good though because you allowed me like to guide everyone else through you because I'm like, you'd be like, ask me a question. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me share that with the whole team, and I'd send out the big emails and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a good time, and you embraced it. You were like really excited about it, which was good because it's like you'd be able to capture a lot of good video and yet still realize what happens on that ship and. So you were good. We kept you right next to you and Frank, and because Frank's been on a ton of cruises, like we kind of just took you under our wing, and
mm,
you did good.
well, it's definitely different. Like I said, my family never did cruises,
Right,
and I just never. It's just something. I'm a city guy. Like
right.
I guess to me it was like, why would I want to go somewhere and be stuck?
On the ship.
Where I'm just a restaurant and stuff,
Right.
and so that thought, I just never pursued it.
Well, and also you check in a little different when you're with us because you don't wait in line. You don't have to go through the rigmarole. I mean, you got in that waiting area. There's waters and sodas and sparkling waters and Danishes. That doesn't happen on every cruise
Mhm.
ship. So
Well, I'm all, in the remarks when I book one, I'm going to put, I'm part of Team Ripepi. I expect little cold cut sandwiches cut in triangles and
yeah.
some Fiji water.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, so I mean, it was weird, boarding the ship. It's like everybody else is like, okay, and I'm thinking about it, like, well, what do I do? I'm like, I guess, I had to like tell myself like, this is just a hotel that floats. And I'm like, all
Right.
right,
Yeah.
where's my room at? And
Yeah.
it is a little weird because, it's uh, a hotel hallway that's 100 yards long, or whatever.
You go
So
hit the wrong
that's,
elevator, you're like, shit.
yeah. It did take me a while because like the middle,
Mhm.
the elevators were off to the side.
Right.
And I didn't know that at first. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, now I gotta fucking go up 10 flights or something. Um, but so we got there. Um,
As long as I took the glass elevators, I was near my room. That's all I remember.
yeah, I eventually,
Midship,
you
the
know,
midship.
uh,
And you
learned that.
realized how small your rooms were.
You know what? The room was bigger than I thought it would
Oh,
be.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I expected it to be small, and it
Right.
was actually bigger than I thought.
At least you had a
Uh,
window.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Some people are inside cabins and they don't get a window. If
yeah,
they're lucky,
and
they'll get a TV that's got a window picture on it.
there was one rogue wave that hit. I mean, I was like, damn, that'd be pretty high, but um, yeah. I mean, it reminded me like of being in a hotel, like on an airplane.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like everything's small, every
Right.
space is so limited. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I mean, cruise day was um, Saturday. Basic
Debarkation.
basically a
Or embarkation day. Embarkation.
yeah, listen with all your
Check in.
fancy fancy talk. Night Ranger played two shows.
Mhm.
Uh Sunday night, Monday night.
Right.
We boarded the ship Saturday. Now, I guess we need to get to why is Night Ranger on a 70s rock and romance cruise? Well, listen, we like 70s rock and we like romance. And, you know, um, yeah, and I didn't know. I mean, I you remember I even learned something because, when we went by your room, there's that pineapple on your door. I'm like, what the
Shut up.
fuck's that? Is that like what you put, if you're wanting,
No, there
like,
was no pineapple on my room.
them to bring you fresh fruit or something? And, and I always saw these, strange, 70-year-old people going in and out of Ed's room. And I was like, man, Ed's a pretty popular guy. But anyways, so yeah, so Kansas,
Right. Yeah.
last
No.
minute cancellation. Their singer uh, has cancer treatable. I think they're going to start playing here in April. But that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Night Ranger was
They had to pull out and we got a phone call.
and Ed called me up like, hey, can you help out? And I'm like, ah, fuck, I gotta get on a boat. I gotta fucking go see
Make sure you have
Night
your
Ranger.
passport.
Yeah. But
They took good care of us. They were very professional. They were very thankful that we were there. I mean, you saw I thought, when they were, we had the big production meeting for all the artists and the team, we all had to go to it. It's mandatory because they scanned our card and we didn't have to go to the muster drill. But I mean, he was really the host there. What was his name? Steve? Jason. Jason was very thankful, and everybody applauded us and was really, well received and all that stuff. And,
mm,
and there was a lot of fans on the ship. And it was funny because the first show, I was up in that loft there, and watching from above. And I saw it on their fan pages, like, oh, I don't know who they are, and some people like, oh, you're gonna know who they are. Well, the first show, that one guy come running down next to you. He's like, they sing this. He's yelling it, and I think it might have been "Don't Tell Me You Love Me" or "Close Your Eyes." And he came running down. He's like, they sing this. They sing this. And then realized who was on stage, and was like videotaping and taking pictures and all that. It was so funny. So it was cool seeing that. Um, they played the Boys of Summer just to keep it
yeah,
lighter. You know what I mean? And we did a little improv on Night Ranger. Did you catch that?
yeah, we obviously they're, you know, Night Ranger compared to these other acts that were on this cruise would be like, you know, if you're in a Night Ranger and Journey and REO Speedwagon going to like some Norwegian death metal band.
Right.
Um, so the thought process was, how do we bring it down just a little bit?
Right.
And so with the song Night Ranger, what did they
They
do?
just came right out of Secret or right out of
Uh,
Alice and Ozzy right into the drum solo.
Allison Ozzy drum solo, and then played the last half of Night Ranger.
Yeah, the solo and then
Yeah.
went right into whatever.
Mm. I remember, I don't really remember exactly, but I think I was in the buffet area, and I, I don't know if she saw me at the show or something, but somehow this woman knew that I was with Night Ranger, and she was talking about she took more pictures of her husband because like he was reliving stuff
That was a
and
lot of the
get
a
get
lot of yeah, a lot of people put that out there. Like, hey, thanks for letting me relive my high school years or my college years or my
mm,
80s. It was a great, a lot of people didn't give us the clout that we deserve, but when we came and we played, they're like, holy shit. So,
mm.
which
Well,
is
I
good.
mean, and I mean, Night Ranger was like, I mean, these groups that were there, either A, they were tribute bands, or B, these guys are older than even
Right,
Night Ranger. I mean, Night Ranger, we're lucky that Jack, Kelly, and Brad don't look their age.
right.
Um, and, just it was a pure rock show,
Right.
and they didn't look like they were just wheeled out there. Um,
And
one
some people unfortunately were, but
One thing I, was interesting was you were talking about when we were boarding and sandwiches and sodas and stuff. So all the artists and crew board before, the general public. And so I'm in there and um what's his name?
Glenn,
No, the guy from ELO, because the orchestra was there.
right,
Mick Kaminsky. So Mick Kaminsky, so the orchestra it was former members of Yellow, and some have quit, some have passed away. So really, the only one there is Mick Kaminsky. But I love Yellow. It was just cool, It's
yeah,
weird, like I don't get that anymore with Night Ranger, and it's like, oh shit, there's Mick Kaminsky of Yellow, and I'm standing there and I hear Josh. I look over and it's Glenn Burtnick, who I've had on the podcast, and I listened to that Styx record. It came out in 1990 with him. I wore that out. So been a big, Glenn Burtnick fan, and hey Glenn, got to meet him and stuff. And then I went over the other side of the room and I was talking to Jack, and I was like, Jack, Tommy's replacement in Styx, Glenn Burtnick's here. And he's like, really? And he tells Molly, and he's like, show me where he's at. So I walked over and
right,
introduced Glenn to Jack, and they talked for a few minutes, but it was just, I'm over, I left then, but I'm like looking over and I'm like, just as a 13-year-old kid, it was Damn Yankees and Sticks, Tommy Shaw's out of Sticks, and,
right.
they're, and it's like, there's those two,
No, I thought it was a great move because I was
yeah,
like, James and I like, who's Jack talking to? And then you came over and
yeah.
like, oh, that was Glenn Burtnick that took over for Tommy and Sticks when Tommy left for a little while. And I was like, that's really cool. And you could see Jack was really appreciative and getting some good conversations with them too. So it was
Mhm.
nice.
And I mean, it's a weird, his story is weird because so he replaces Tommy. He's in Styx, for 3 or 4 years. Styx gets back with Tommy Shaw in 1996. They tour 1999. Dennis DeYoung gets fired. They get that Lawrence Gowan, and their bass player, for health issues, basically takes time off. They get Glenn Burtnick back in the band to play bass. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
Glenn was in the band from like 2000 to 2005, six with Tommy Shaw, the
Oh,
guy that he
wow.
replaced. And he did that Cyclorama record, which has one of the unreleased Damn Yankees songs that was on that third record, Yes I Can, where it was Jack and Tommy singing. This has Tommy and Glenn singing.
Hmm.
And yeah, and Glenn was in Dynasty Young's band like 2009
Oh,
when
wow.
Jeff Watson played 8 or 9 shows. So there you go.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
if you ever want to go down a good rabbit hole, uh, look up Glenn Burtnick stuff, anything from the 80s, 90s, and even most recent. He wrote a lot of hits for other artists too. But anyways, that was cool. So we're waiting to go on the boat. I
Right.
see Kelly talk to someone. I kind of look and look like that's Mark Farner from Grand Funk
Fun.
Railroad.
Yeah.
And after we got on the boat or later, I was talking to Kelly. I was like, hey, I saw you talking to Mark Farner. And again, this is people get, they're in their
Right.
sweats and
Yeah.
stuff. And,
Baseball hat on. Yeah.
and it's like, I was like, Kelly, I saw you talking to Mark Farner. I was going to take a picture, ask if you wanted a picture, but, I don't know, do I do that? He goes, absolutely. He goes, do it. So, we'll get into where that comes into play later. The worst thing you did on that trip was our day off Saturday. We all went up to get a drink, us and the crew and Levy. One drink was like 25 bucks. And we, just debating like, do we do, we want to drink? Do we want to do this? Levy's like, I think I'll just drink coffee. And somehow I think we ran into you guys at the buffet and you're like, yeah, you can do a 1 day.
Our security, Kenny, I think our security detail with Kenny and Mark, of course, let the federal agents figure this out. And they get a text and like, hey everybody, they're doing daily. You can buy it prorated daily liquor packages.
For basically 100
Everybody just
bucks.
got up from the buffet table and ran over to the guy.
And it went from Eric Levy going, I might just drink coffee today to, there's all this liquor and
Buffalo
we're
Trace for
and
people.
we're looking at it. And I'm like, well, what do you think you're going to, he's like, why don't we just drink everything? And I was just like, it's one of the greatest and worst quotes I've ever heard in my life. So, me and Levy started to tie one on. Um, very easy to do.
You know what
Um,
exactly is going through my mind right now. The story.
So, anyways, we get well, first of all, I did save Levy because Levy's trying to tell me we don't have to go to that 2 p.m. meeting because we already went down to do our muster. I'm like, it says mandatory, Levy. No, it is mandatory, but we've already done it. We don't have to go. And finally, like 1:45, well, it's a little bit early. I'm like, let's go up early. One will be seen, and let's get a fresh drink and we'll go up. And we did, and we needed to be there, and we were one of the first ones there, and we were seen, that's for sure. Uh, we got a good picture of Jack and Eric together, um, and then we carried on a little bit, and then we get a text that we need passports. So I get old Levy to get to his room and get the passport.
Now let's explain why. So we got off the boat in Cozumel, so um we had to collect I had to collect all the passports to bring them down to the cruise director so that they can start processing our passports for immigration and customs. All right, go ahead. Normally does not happen, but we got off halfway through the ship. That's why we had to go.
Yeah, so me and Levy show up at Ed's room with Levy's passport, and now I got to go get mine. Now it's going to take forever if Levy's with me. So I leave Levy in Ed's room.
With
Oh,
who?
with Ed,
Who was with me?
your wife.
Yeah, sure. Let's leave
I
Levy.
just, I just hear, John, take him with, John. And I go get my passport. I come back. Levy is now best friends with Ed's neighbor because they're out in the balcony peeking over, chit chatting. Um,
And this is Shannon. Shannon's reading a book, and it went like this. It went, "Oh, hey, what's going on, too?"
but the key thing is we got our passports there.
But you did. You
Um,
did.
uh, and we made good relations with your neighbors.
Yes.
Because what's crazy is we went down a floor or up a floor or something right after that,
Right.
and they had just left and ran into us. I didn't know who they were, but then
Right.
I recognized the voice a little bit. I'm like, oh, Eric, yeah, yeah. And they got pictures with Eric and everything. Um, but yeah, so that I don't know. I don't remember much of the night. I know,
Fast forward to the first show, and Eric's in a panic because what?
yes, Well, you're the one that got the text message. What was the text message?
Ed, I'm sorry. I cannot find my passport. I've torn my cabin upside down and looked through every bit of clothing. What do I do? So naturally, I had to be like, screenshot. Listen to this, guys. So we had a little fun with that one.
Yeah, it's like you know. Anyways, we got our money's worth. Because I told Eric, like, listen, the more we drink, the less each drink is, the more financially responsible we are, the more Jack will be happy with us, right? Because we're making good financial decisions. What I wanted to do was I wanted to buy the 8-day pass, drinking pass, to see if we could make it up in 3 days. But that was somewhat frowned upon.
Thanks. Last
Um,
time Josh is coming with us ever.
but anyways, me and Levy survived the day and everything else. And
How about the Q&A? I mean, if we're
oh,
going
so
chronological.
well,
So the first show, yeah, the first show.
so the first show was Sunday night.
Mhm.
Um,
And the nice thing they do is they like everybody gets to see the main show, which was us,
mm,
because they split them up into different key cards.
and that show was a little early. It was like a 6 or 7 o'clock
6:30 to
show.
7:45.
And what's weird is the um, it's a decent sized theater.
Mhm.
Um, but with it being Night Ranger and 70s, there's open seats like on the ends of the first row. And I'm just thinking, I know so many people that would just kill to be in these spots,
Right.
right? And so Night Ranger comes out, and you can see some people are just getting, like the Twisted Sister. What do you want to do with your life? Just, getting
Yeah.
blasted in the face. And but it was cool to see as the show went on, them getting into it. And by the end, they were, um, you know,
Well
really enjoy.
received. Yeah. And it
And
was funny, Jack was looking forward to like who has seen us, who has not seen us, and he was all excited about it. And it's crazy how many people did not ever see us. And he gave the little joke again. But I think when we played, they pulled out um Boys of Summer off of the acoustic show, the acoustic album. And boy, that won him over like that instantly. And then all of a sudden, it just went to the hits from there. And so it was great. I was very happy with their song selection. And then I thought we did a good job, and we won them over. And then when the next day then was Q&A, and wow, that was one of the biggest ones they said they had. It was packed. And
really, I mean, I guess I've never been
yeah,
to,
no, Jason said that was probably one of the most well attended Q&As they've ever had.
yeah.
And I mean, the guys were just on fire. They were just clicking on all cylinders. Some of the
Well,
stories and just the way their reaction was and body language and you know,
so up in the main, so each band or artist, they would do a Q&A throughout the day. Um, this was up in the like the Sky Bar or whatever up on top, and uh, you can see portions of it. I split it up between the Fans of Motion page, the Facebook Night Ranger Facebook, Night Ranger Instagram.
Mhm.
So you can go and watch it. Pretty much all of it's there. Uh, I don't think they knew how they were going to be interviewed because they put the two new guys on the end, with the three main, principals in the middle.
Yeah,
But the way it was set up, Levy was closest to the interviewer,
Jason.
and I just thought, well, that's not what they were thinking, I bet. And yeah, I was talking to Levy like 20 minutes before that, and he's like, yeah, I just gotta basically put the clothes on and just go sit and smile. And he probably talked the most. Well, not voluntarily,
No,
but I mean, it was funny. Go watch it. Them talking about JoJo, some girl there that is he
from
single?
Cleveland. From
Yeah,
Cleveland. Yeah,
and
trying to hook up with Eric Levy.
yeah, and um, the guys shared some great stories. Jack told getting left at the truck stop,
Right.
in the 80s
The
story.
Richard
And
Simmons story.
yeah, so
God, that was so funny.
yeah,
Brad
uh,
thought he had a daughter that he didn't know about, or
yeah.
it was just funny how he was, and they would circle back like 20 minutes later, and it just got funnier, you know?
So definitely that was very good. And I started filming at the beginning, thinking I'll film a little bit, and I wouldn't even put it on the Night Ranger pages. So I think I went on Fans of Motion first.
Right.
I did 5, 10 minutes, and I'm like, this is too good not to,
Capture.
put somewhere else, on the Night Ranger.
And even
So
our crew was there, almost everybody in the crew was there too, just to hear it and watch it. And they were cracking up laughing, and
yeah,
so
I
it was
mean,
good.
and then the other thing that we did and was part of my job on Friday was Jim Cara from Cara Guitars had two guitars put together. I
Right.
think you can see a picture on Brad's page. It's kind of got the seven wishes on top, a little bit of Midnight Madness and Dawn Patrol on the bottom, Night Ranger logo on the headstock. The guys all signed it, and they gave one to St. Jude's
Right.
for the auction on the boat. I think it ended up getting thirteen
Correct.
thousand
Yeah. That's what I
dollars,
saw
and
that too. Yeah.
um, so that was very cool. Very cool looking guitar. I thought I took a video. I took a video and it's like that video wasn't very good. And I took another one that was better, but I must not hit the record button because it's not there. So I got a shitty video of it I might post. But if not, you got go to Brad's page. I think I shared it on Night Ranger, of the guitar.
Hmm.
Um, what else? Let's see here. So I think,
And then we had the second show, and that
yeah,
went really well again. And then,
that was a late show.
right.
And
And then we left.
so that night I was taking a walk and ran into Jack and Molly.
Hmm.
I was kind of like, hey, what's up? You want to walk with us? Like, no, no, you're all right. Go do your thing. And then there was like the guitar, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was the guitar player, but his Earth, Wind, and Fire band. And I met up with Levy. We got a beer. And then we ran into like maybe Angela and Griff. And then I kind of look out of the corner of my eye and I see this head bobbing, out of the corner of my eye, and just something caught. And I was like, that's Kelly. Kelly was up there by himself. And I went over like, hey, we're over here. So Kelly came over. I got a video of him and Levy standing next to each other, getting into it. And I got a good picture of him and Levy together. Um, but yeah, it was cool seeing, Kelly getting into Earth, Wind, and
I
Fire.
mean, they were jamming. The orchestra was good. Earth, Winds, and Fire was good.
There
I
was a
think that
bridge.
that Queen band, whew,
Mhm.
wow,
Yeah.
they were epic.
Mhm.
And I've
Yeah.
seen the real Queen play, and I was just like, wow. I mean, he probably sounded like Freddie the best I've ever
Really.
seen any tribute band play. And they could thump. Boy, they were ripping and roaring. So that was good.
And that's what's, great about these cruises is um there's always someone playing, and like that Queen band, they closed Monday night, but
Right.
like on Sunday, they were playing at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
outside,
Hmm.
and um, so there's always something, me and
Yeah.
Levy and Carrie went and saw,
Dire Straits.
is that who it was? I guess shit. Fuck. I
Yeah,
guess
that's
we,
when Kenny was being responsible and had to babysit everybody. But
all
that's what
right.
he's there for. He's
Right.
security.
Oh, oh shit. So me and Levy were watching it on the other side,
Mhm.
and Levy accidentally spilled his drink on someone. Total accident. I mean, there wasn't much in there, but enough to like, and they weren't
Mhm.
mad. I'm like, I went around to the other side because I knew there was a bar there to get a towel. But I went over there and I guess I thought there was a bar there, but there wasn't. So I'm getting ready to head back and I see Levy And he's like, I just left. I'm like, oh, that's one way to do it too. Um, but um, yeah, I don't remember much from Dire Straits. Uh,
They were good
but
when I was told.
um, the night after, we all went. Some of us in the crew went out, and uh, Kelly joined us, and we were at the ice bar or whatever, where the
Mhm.
bar
Yeah,
top was made out of a big block of
yeah.
ice, and um,
Martini bar.
yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things. If I would tell you, if you see a themed cruise, now it's probably different. I mean, the Monsters of Rock cruise just looked way overcrowded. I mean, in the pictures to
Well,
where,
remember, it was a bigger boat, first of
yeah,
all. So they had big, more crowds. But it all just depends. Like we played on the pool deck that day, and so it's a pool in the middle of the ocean, on a cruise ship.
mhm,
So certain areas aren't, conducive for it, and they just make it work. Um, I mean, the whole upper level was filled, and you saw how the pool deck was very similar to what you saw on the Celebrity as well, but it was a smaller ship. So was it crowded? You didn't know it. I mean, but we were the feature artist that night, and we delivered. So, and it was in with our people, But it is a great opportunity to A, get up close and personal with people, B, to see a whole hell of a lot of music over the course of 7 days. Um, you know, and it's still great food, it's still good service, it's still the ship, it's still the workers on the ship. It's just a little different, as far as what's offered. They're not doing
mhm,
bingo in the library, or they're not doing belly flops, they're doing a concert, you know.
yeah, and it is up close and personal. I mean, I would see you know different artists in the buffet. I mean, obviously, you know
Yeah.
I didn't bother them, but you would see them there and stuff. Met Linda and Scooter while I was there.
Otherwise known as Jim, her husband.
Here's that.
Oh, there you go.
I was up at the mon the there's
Oh, the Earth, Wind, and Fire show.
yeah.
They're jamming. Look at that.
They were good too. But
They were good.
yeah, just looking at the picture, seeing if there's anything. Yeah, here's
Oh, there you go. Of course. Look at that.
that was at the mandatory 2 o'clock meeting that um he was telling me that was not mandatory. Uh, so yeah, so did a show Monday night. I guess um departing Tuesday morning because then all the other acts get on the boat.
We
Um,
finished at what? We played at 9 to 10:30, 10, 4, 10, 15, 10:30, and they all had to be up at 7 a.m. Now, listen, I'm an early bird, so it's easy for me.
well,
Ooh.
I know Levy called me, I don't, or texted me or something, and he's like, "You want to go get a beer?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's 6 hours of showtime." You know what I mean? Like,
Well, go ahead, finish.
well, it's just like, dude, we start having beers, you start time traveling. Next thing you know, it's like, well, we might as well just stay up,
And then you're regretting it.
and it's just
Well,
like,
the crazy part is on a cruise ship, you always keep ship time, no matter where you're at in the world. It's ship time, right? So we're on ship time and it's 7 o'clock. Well, we get to Mexico and it changes, and our clocks changed on our phone. Well, I, being the true worrywart that I am at times, set my alarm for 5 a.m. because it really was 6 a.m. because I had to get everybody up by 7 a.m. into the theater to get off the boat. And so I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to call everybody. And I did. I had to make sure everybody knew. I texted the group. We had everybody on one group text. And I'm like, look, it's your clock might say 6 a.m., but we're on ship time. It's or
Mm.
your phone may say 5 a.m., but really we're on ship time. It's 6 a.m. You have to get up. And everybody was like, thank God you called. And then some people didn't reply back. So I'm like, here we go. Hello.
Yeah, I had a
And then I
list
had to
of
send
friends.
Josh and who went? Josh and Kenny or Josh and who ended up going?
Kenny, I think, was one.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Mark did the lower level, and you and Josh, or you and Kenny did the upper levels.
Mm.
And Mark and Kenny are a security
Mhm.
detail that are friends of
Yeah.
mine forever, and they're former federal agents, and they're knocking on doors, pounding on doors, waking everybody up because we had to get going. So it
Well,
was a good move on my part. I
I
don't care what.
wasn't sure, because your clocks, your your iPhone updates.
Right.
Some people weren't sure if they would update since we really weren't connected, except to the
But
Wi-Fi. I
I had
said,
an analog watch, and I turned on the TV, and it said
mm,
ship time X. So I was like taking pictures so nobody wouldn't freak out on me.
I just set my alarm to 5:30. That way, either I'm getting up at 5:30 or
But either way,
6:30.
yeah, you're up.
And if you go to the app, it always has ship time on it.
Right.
So that's where, look at
Yeah.
me. I sound like I know what I'm doing. Um, so yeah, so we get down there, and basically to deboard and go through customs, we're in that theater where Night Ranger had
Right.
played shows, and Kelly's talking to Mark Farner again. So I don't pass up the opportunity this time. I'm like, Kelly, Mark, can I get a picture for Kelly? And they're like, yeah, yeah. So I got a couple pictures, and Mark's like, can you send that to me? And I'm like, yeah, which social or whatever. He goes, just text it to me. Here's my number. So I texted, texted to him, and he's like, thanks, I appreciate it. I'm Mark, by the way. I'm like, duh. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm Josh at the Night Ranger socials, blah, blah, blah. He's like, good meeting you, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, by the way, what are you doing next week?
Yeah. So I got that picture,
Yeah.
and we processed through. They take us in the vans to the airport, um, which looked like it was closed, which it kind of was. So
Cozumel Airport.
there for a couple hours,
Walked in, I'm like, "Yeah, are they open? Oh, they'll be here in 2 hours.
um, all the artists are just standing around, just
Yeah.
hanging out, talking to each other. So, um,
You and Brad.
well, I went over. I saw Mark talking to that Mick Kaminsky or whatever from ELO, and I already had his number, so I know I could get him the photo. I'm like, Mark, you want me to So I got a picture of them too,
Of course you did.
um, and then I started talking to Mark, and so me and Mark talked for I don't know 5 minutes or so, um, and then I don't know, I talked to someone else or started talking to the guy that was in the Queen band, Mike, the Brian May guy. Talked to him for a while. Well, then Brad's over there, and I'm like, you know what? I'll go get. So I went over to Mark Farner, and I'm like, hey, can I can introduce you to Brad Gillis, guitarist of Night Ranger, and played for Ozzy, and get a picture for the socials and stuff. He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I walk over with this older guy to Brad, and I'm like, Brad Gillis, this is Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad, and oh yeah, 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 and I think I made a post, but I was like, if you would ever told me one day I'd be introducing Mark Farner to Brad Gillis,
They talked for a while too.
yeah, yeah, they were talking guitars and everything
I
else.
imagine Mark's got
But
to have a collection too.
Mark Farner's, Grand Funk Railroad's got some fantastic songs.
Right.
Inside Looking Out, that's where I always send people. But Mark Farner was on my short list of people I wanted to go see,
Hmm.
before you can't. And so it's just weird that that happened. But then I was like, you know what? Everybody else is getting pictures, So I went over to that, it's either Mick or Mike, I don't know, Kaminsky from ELO. He was, like I said, the violin player on all those songs. And it's like, "Look, can I get a picture with?" He's like, yeah. So we got a picture, and then And we go into the airport area with the seats and everything, and that was
Which
great.
looks, I mean, you literally went from third world country to Las Vegas by
Yeah,
just going through TSA or whatever their
yeah.
security line is. I mean, we walked out and I'm like, holy moly, where'd this come from, you know?
And it was big and
Hmm.
nice. And again, I ran into Mark Farner and we talked some more. Um, and like, so what was cool was like I'd see Glenn Burtnick
Hmm.
different places. Hey, Josh. Hey, Glenn.
Yeah.
And um, I was just kind of just walking, just killing time. And I hear Glenn, Josh. And I look over, he's like, pulled me over and it's like, what's up, man? So we sat there and talked a little bit. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm getting a picture with Glenn. So I got, put your Elvis glasses on, Glenn. And we've got a picture. And then he's like, he introduced me to a couple people that are in the orchestra. And, I don't know the history of the orchestra that well, but um, he introduced me to a guy, Partheon Huxley. Um, Big career with different artists, but then he introduced me to Eric Troyer, who does a lot of the singing for them. And I talked to him a little bit, exchanged contacts. And then, like, when I'm on the plane, I'm looking at Eric Troyer's like resume. He sang backup on some Kiss records, and then he sang backup on my one of my favorite songs of all time, John Lennon's song "Woman," which when I was like 3 years old, like I had that 45, and that's all I listened to. So just to think, these are people you just pass in the airports, and you wouldn't even know who they are. And it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, that fucker sang with John Lennon.
Wow.
Um,
I know,
and
looking at Partheon Huxley right now. Crazy. Richard Willett Miller,
I
professional
mean,
drummer, Partheon Huxley.
like I guess he's a big vocalist, not Parthenon, but Eric Troyer.
Hmm.
Like he sang on a lot. Did backup vocals on Aerosmith, Draw the Line, Air
Oh,
Supply, Bang Tango, Cinderella, Heartbreak Station.
oh shit.
Miles Davis, Rick Derringer, Celine Dion. He did a lot with Celine Dion. Um, yeah. So when I saw that um, he did John Lennon Woman, I was just like, all right, um, I'm in.
I know, look
Uh,
at that. Gosh, that's crazy.
yeah. So
And
it's,
we left.
so it's, yeah, it was just cool, meeting those guys
Right.
and just, I wish I'm lucky I didn't know he sang on Woman or I'd sat there and just talked to him about that the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah, so then we
That was a good time.
flew home and good time. I appreciate you guys packing me along there and
Got to help Grandma and Scooter.
yeah, yeah. Uh Grandma, as you call her, she's the one that does all the Night Ranger crunching all their numbers and stuff.
She gave me the
Um
look when I called her. I'm like, Josh, go with grandma. They'll need help getting on board the plane. And she gave me the look. Hey, you
um
got on board first.
she's probably been with Night Ranger the long,
Oh, she
anybody's
knows where the bodies are buried,
yeah.
buddy.
Um
She'd be a fun one to get on.
yeah. Well, she probably couldn't tell any stories.
Yeah.
But because yeah, I was at the martini bar with them for a little bit, her and Scoot. Um, but yeah, so and then I got home and I was fine like that day, and then it
Mhm.
was the next day. I'm like,
I get the text.
yeah, how long does this shit last? It's like, and it just kept going. Like I said, I just got out of the shower earlier today, and it like came back, like it was just dissipating for a little.
Getting dizzy,
But
Josh.
luckily, like I said, it's just like I've had a few beers.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Let's let's show something special.
What we got? What we got?
Yeah, let me see where it's at here. Here we go.
Are some of
Sure.
your pineapple photos?
What is that, Josh?
Oh, look at that. Look at that. You can't really see it.
Damn.
There
How
you
do I
go. Right
get?
there. Right there. Stop. Pull up. Go a little closer. Nope. 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 Right. Right there. Stop. Look at that. Honky lips.
The the night machine.
No, we had Wheezy. We
Stop.
Wheezy was the
Stop.
old and
No.
this and so if you remember Christmas or no, National Lampoon's Vacation when they're in St. Louis and they're asking for directions and they get stuff spray painted on their car. Honky Lips is on the back. So that was my suggestion. Um,
Oh, but night machine was your suggestion too, because we kind of wanted to like.
I
Oh
hate myself for suggesting it because you chose that one. If I would have just went with Honky Lips,
no, it
yeah,
wasn't happening.
it would have been Honky Lips.
Nope. Night
But
machine.
all right, we will do a fan poll um, to
No,
see
we
which one
won't do
wins.
it.
It's either we call that'll be your new nickname then. Um,
No,
there
it
you
won't be.
there you go. If you want to get Ed's attention for a set list.
Stop.
Um, did you see what we're doing on the page for March Madness? We're doing, all the songs minus the classic era. So everything from like 1995 to present.
Hmm.
All the songs like a bracket
Hmm.
going against each other.
Got it.
So I try to seed them a little bit, like High Roads up at top and uh growing up in California and stuff like that. So
Got
we're
it.
like round three right now. So
I have to take a look at it.
kind of cool to
Right.
just see the news because it used to be a 4 in the morning went against something that was
I was up.
newer.
Oh, yeah.
So we
Got it.
took
Got it.
all the
All right, good.
yeah. So
All right. Well,
yeah. Well,
wrap
what
this thing up.
about any new dates or anything like that? I know I gotta.
I'm sure there's plenty coming down the pipeline. Places, you know what? For those of you, again, I don't book the shows. So don't tell me about Boston and bitch about Boston. We're coming close to Boston, is all I can say. That's about it. But you know, we're going to some places that we've never been. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of dates coming up. I know they just announced a date with ZZ Top in July or some shit.
A few of
Um,
those coming down the pipeline.
and um, there may be an Ohio date maybe coming up
Mhm.
for those that ask. And yeah, so
There may be a Buffalo date,
Buffalo.
maybe I don't know. I
Even
could
though
go
I
on
don't
and on
know,
and on.
I'm sure there's another Minnesota or Wisconsin date.
Oh, of course. Yes, there's a
Uh,
couple of Minnesotas. Minnesota.
uh, Minnesota
Minnesota, and
loves
there's a couple of Wisconsins.
love their night range. I think they announced the Soaring Eagle in Michigan with Loverboy and Foreigner, which Foreigner's in the news that um, Kelly Hansen, their longtime singer that replaced Lou Graham, they just announced a big Canadian tour.
Mhm.
And on the artwork, the first thing people noticed was there was no Kelly Hansen.
Hi, buddy. Hold on.
Yep.
Night.
S- So there was no Kelly Hansen.
Correct.
And then they went and did like a radio studio thing with a few of their members, and the keyboard player sang on it.
Mhm.
And then they announced a Canadian tour with a different singer.
Yeah.
So people don't know if Kelly Hansen's out in.
I think he's just done, tired. I don't know. Wants a break.
Well, this is like his band now with Mick
I get it.
Jones kind of, or maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe he started thinking he was
Right.
foreigner and demanding too much money. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, Ed. I need to go to Soaring Eagle in Michigan and get my Blues Clues and stuff. And
I just buy a ticket, and there you go.
yeah, I got
You got it in.
I got all kinds of passes I've
Hi,
um so all right, buddy.
buddy.
So I appreciate
Uh,
you joining me.
Everybody enjoyed their little cruise insight.
Um Look at that slender guy there. Look at that guy.
61 pounds, bitches.
Yeah. Dude, we and Eric Levy were still up at 5 a.m. from Saturday night, and we somehow took a wrong turn, and we went by the gym, and guess who was in there? Ed Ripepi. And he just had on, he looked like he was like, he had raided Freddie Mercury's wardrobe. Had the tank top with just the pineapple on. Um, but yeah, if you see Ed, tell him how good he looks. Rub his head. Call him honky lips. All right.
No, do not do that.
Click subscribe on the YouTube thing. Go to Fans of Motion on Facebook. Click Fans of Motion. Night Ranger. Hit join. I will accept you into Fans of Motion and as a human being. Which one's that? Is that Elvis?
Elvis is all black. See, no brown
Hey
pod.
man. Hey man.
Hey, where's Elvis?
I'm
Yeah.
all black below the belt, buddy.
Is that Josh?
Hey man. Look at him. He knows. He hears the Elvis voice. He's like, it's like instinct, like pissing
Yeah.
on a rock. And hey man,
Thank you very much. Thank you very,
I'm coming through you.
thank you very much. Huh.
You know what? I need to figure out where Macho Man is from. So when you guys play there, I could do Macho Man voice instead of Elvis voice.
Isn't he like Kentucky? Or I thought he.
All right, there better be a Kentucky date.
Hold on, let's see. Macho Man Randy Savage. I thought he was Kentucky. Oh shit, Columbus, Ohio.
Oh shit!
Born that November 15th.
You know what? I knew that.
Columbus, Ohio.
Him and Dwight Yoakam, Columbus, Ohio.
And then he was in Seminole. He died in Florida, Seminole,
Yeah.
Florida.
He played in the Cincinnati Reds and St. Louis
Yep.
Cardinals.
His real name was Randy Poffo, and his
Yep.
brother played too. His brother was a
He was a wrestler too. Leaping Lanny Poffo.
Leaping Lanny Poffo. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born Columbus, Ohio. There you go.
Born in Columbus,
Went to
Ohio.
Southern Illinois University.
I went to Southern Illinois. Oh yeah. So guess what, Ed? Every time we play Ohio, yeah, I'm gonna talk
Good
like
job.
this.
There you go. All right.
All right. Where's Michael McDonald from? From the Doobie Brothers.
I bet you he was from
Because when we go there, I'll just be like,
California.
Ed, I
Michael
can't
McDonald.
find Eric Levy. I'm not sure I knocked upon his
St.
door.
Louis, Missouri.
All right, whenever we play St. Louis, we all gotta talk like Michael McDonald. Ed, 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 Eddie.
You're losing people, bro.
No. Where's Gilbert Godfrey from? Oh, sure. You want to see Night Ranger. But that could be our themes. Wherever we play, we got to talk like
Brooklyn, New York.
You guys never play New York.
Going to New York next week.
That's New Jersey.
New Jersey. Shit. Oh my God. I'll get killed if I say that again. New Brunswick, New Jersey, and Inglewood.
Yep. And
Shops up there.
you fucking go talk to your contacts in the waste management business there. And
I'm Italian. Does not mean I'm involved in the mafia.
your attorney would be proud of you right now. And in Connecticut, you got New Jersey and Connecticut. So I really don't know. I guess people in Connecticut just talk with a little bit of a New England accent.
Yeah.
That's boring.
All right.
I don't like Connecticut since they got rid of the Hartford Whalers. Fuck them.
Nice.
All right, Ed. Say goodbye to
buddy.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good talking to y'all.
See you soon.
Yeah.